Just want to introduce Vertex Consulting quickly to a couple of you that haven't done business with us. We were founded in 1997, which is 19 years ago. We have quite a few premier technology partners, which WatchGuard is one of them. We are WatchGuard Gold Partner. Also, along with that, we're also a Datto Backup Elite Partner, ShoreTel Telephone System Gold Certified Partner, Microsoft Certified Gold Partner, VMware, an HP business partner. We also do Ruckus Wireless, and which we are a top dog partner with them. Using all these solutions, we have thousands of IT projects completed in that 19-year history, and we currently have tens of thousands of end users supported. Just a brief overview of the type of clients that we have here. As you can see, there's quite a few of them, but one I want to draw your attention to is the types of businesses we do business with. It's government, banking, education, insurance, medical, industry, and legal, just to name a few. Of that, WatchGuard and Vertex has done security projects for all these verticals. So as you can see, WatchGuard and Vertex can do plenty of things for your organization. Just a little bit about me. I am the Vice President of Vertex Consulting. I've been here for more than 18 years, so just a little bit shy of the founding of the company. Also, one of the things I want to draw your attention to, of the eye chart that you just saw there with all of the different companies we do business with, I have serviced all of them. Inside of those, I've done voice over IP, server virtualization, network design, wide area network, wireless network infrastructure, disaster recovery, and network security solutions using WatchGuard. Just wanted to go over a couple of the items here that we're doing for this presentation. One attendee today will win WatchGuard Courier Bag that Michael is displaying there. As you can see, Michael is not Sammy Hager in any bit, so we just wanted to show you what the courier bag looked like there. At the end of this presentation, I will announce who has won that. It will be from the people that are attending. Also, I wanted to draw your attention to WatchGuard through the end of this month is doing a Red for Red program and a Red Instead program. Those programs are for existing WatchGuard users and new WatchGuard users. For the existing WatchGuard users, you could trade up your older generation WatchGuard appliances, which are the XTM and the E-Series firewalls, for the new Firebox T-Series and M-Series, which have been released. With that, all you'd have to do is purchase a 3-year security suite, and you pay only for the subscription services, and you'd be pretty much getting the WatchGuard appliance for free. Same thing applies to new users. You trade in your old security appliance from any manufacturer, and you purchase the 3-year WatchGuard security bundle, and you only pay for those security services, and you'll get the WatchGuard appliance for free. Obviously, conditions apply. It's the usual conditions. It is for the electronic firewall only, not for the physical firewall in your building that protects you from actual fire. So just because Adam is a sales engineer doesn't mean that, or he's an engineer, doesn't mean he can come to your building and tear down your firewall. Continuing on, just wanted to go over why we're here today. We're going to go over advanced persistent threats and exactly what those are, and what WatchGuard does to help secure your network from them. Also, one of my favorite things is the WatchGuard Dimension, where it gives you instant visibility into top-line security issues. It's a reporting device service that you can use to do reports on and instantly find out what's going on in your network security-wise. And it could turn you into such a superhero that your parents backed on Krypton will be proud. Of course, this is not scientifically proven in a controlled environment or lab as of yet. With that, I'm going to go ahead and turn this over and introduce Adam to you. Adam, I'm going to go ahead and turn this over to you.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Thanks, John, for the introduction. My name is Adam Novak. I'm a sales engineer for the South Atlantic region for WatchGuard. And today we'll be going over APT and Dimension, protection and visibility. I'll go over a quick agenda for us today. I'll go over what is actually an APT and the advanced threat timeline and the ways we can protect against advanced threats. What is an advanced persistent threat? As you can see Bart here, he is writing on the board, we will not attempt to define it, which is kind of ironic because right now I will attempt to define it. An advanced persistent threat is a very high-tech, cutting-edge attack leveraged to gain prolonged, stealthy control over a high-value political or business target. That being said, most all advanced persistent threats have three key attributes. They are targeted. They're either against an individual organization, and the way they started out against a nation state, or even a specific technology. Infiltration is not accidental. And then they are advanced. These unknown zero-day attacks that have malware payloads use kernel rootkits and invasion detection technologies. And thirdly, they are persistent. These viruses don't stop. They keep phishing, plugging, and probing until they find a way to infect your network. The attackers and the malware that they use also have three key attributes. They have time. They have all the time in the world. That's why we consider them persistent. They have motivations. Motivation mainly is money, but some people just want to say that they did it. So the attackers, the three things: they have time, they want money, and they have motivation to do these attacks. Now the malware that they use are stealthy, quiet, and they cover their tracks. So once they figure out a way into your network, they quietly roam around and encrypt and do all these things, but they cover their tracks, so the general anti-malware programs don't even know they're in there until, unfortunately, it's too late. Now, the most high-profile one that most people have seen and are well aware of, other than the dreaded Ashley Madison, is the Target breach. The Target breach happened on November 15th, 2013, and was not even discovered until a month later. By that time, 40 million credit card numbers had been stolen, and they found many encrypted PIN numbers, and as you can see, a zero-day point-of-sale malware called PIPS was used. Now, we consider this advanced threat because they used the HVAC partner who had credentials to get into their system. They sent them an email, a spear phishing email. That partner's system was infected. Once they plugged in to work on the HVAC system, it just spread like wildfire throughout the target network. And once that was done, FTP was used to exfiltrate all the data back to the targeters. Sorry to use Target with the company Target. So what is ransomware? Ransomware is, again, a very high-profile type of APT. It is a type of malware that is used to infect networks and then encrypt all of your necessary data once on the network, and then ask you for money once they have all that information encrypted. You know, this has happened just recently at the Hollywood Hospital. All the patient data was encrypted, and finally the hospital just had to pay it because they didn't have up-to-date backups. They didn't have the systems in place to block this before it became a real issue. So what we're going to talk about is ways to defend against advanced persistent threats. Advanced persistent threats use multiple vectors of attack. There's no silver bullet, as you can see through the diagram. So what we consider with WatchGuard is a layered approach. As you can see, the top layer is the firewall. The next layer is the IPS. The next layer is the antivirus, the gateway antivirus that comes in a subscription service on our firewall. And then the reputation-enabled defense, which we consider red. And then the APT protection is the final stand, per se, for these advanced persistent threats. The more layers you have, the higher chance you have to block these threats. So the layered approach, you know, all data hits the firewall and starts at the top, goes down, kind of the same way our subscription services work. If you leverage all these on your firewall, of course, the better chance you'll have to not be infected. Traditional malware anti-malware is not enough. If you just have anti-malware on your endpoint desktops, that is not enough. People are going to get emails, they're going to get spams, they're going to open them up. You need to defend against that stuff. It says 88% of malware morphs to evade signature-based antivirus solutions. So all the updates and all the things you're doing on your endpoint antivirus, it's not obsolete. It's still a good starting point. But the firewall and everything you do on your firewall, it needs to be done. And it's being shown every day on the news, unfortunately. So the best thing to do is to prepare for it. The way WatchGuard does this is we use the XTM. With this WatchGuard, the WatchGuard architecture, we spent 3 years of working on figuring out a way to have a platform to put all these architectures into one solid platform, so they all come with these subscription services built in. Now it's just up to the people who buy the firewalls to leverage the subscription services, because they're already built in. All you need to do is check a box and say that you want those. And with every service rendered, we have the highest performance of each price point of any firewall in the industry. This is all done through a central management console, and along with the central management console, we also offer the WatchGuard Dimension Logging Reporting Server. This is a great tool that offers you real-time logging reporting and allows you to make changes and to be able to print and have the logs and reports right in front of you to defend against these malwares. The firmware you can use from a T10 all the way up to an M5600. It's the same firmware. You're not going to have buy different subscriptions, different kinds of things. If you can configure a T10, you can configure the largest box in our inventory. And with the modular structure, it allows you to pick and choose which of these subscriptions you want to leverage. You can do them all through a subscription package, or you can just pick and choose a la carte which ones you want. And as you can see on the right side, these are the separate vendors we use for our subscriptions, and we consider these the best in class or best in breed. And the way our architecture works, if we decide that one of these has changed and we don't really like the direction they're going, we can always change vendors through just through an OS firmware update. This was done a few years ago, and the turnaround was 48 hours that we switched out an entire vendor set from one to another, and all we did is push out an OS update. So it's not going to take, you know, a whole new box to get all this done. It's just, we just push out a new update. You guys install the update, and then you're off and running. With that being said, the APT subscription service that we run on our firewalls, last line uses a sandbox. Now, what a sandbox is it's a self-contained cloud sandbox that runs, it emulates the host environment. So what they do is if a malware is found in your environment, they pull it off, they put it in their sandbox, and then they run the .exe or whatever type of malware it is in that virtual environment, and then they notify you if it's a false positive or a positive positive, and then they save the signature set within their database to update everyone else that's using last line. Now the APT blocker, this is how the sandbox works. It virtualizes the full victim system. So like I said, it emulates the host environment. Then it runs the unknown content in that cloud sandbox. Then it analyzes what is going on. Is that a false positive? Is that really not a malware and it's not something you need to worry about, or is it really a malware that needs to be taken care of? Detects sandbox and evasion, and it tracks additional malware and command and control servers along with other malwares that you have selected to look for. Here you can see this is VirusTotal. VirusTotal is a free service that analyzes suspicious files and it records these findings for anyone to go to. It's virustotal.com. As you can see, we have a malware signature set down below, and it's highlighted in yellow. And as you can see above, the detection ratio is 3 out of 56. Now, this being said, you can see over on the top right-hand corner, it kind of gives you a moderate. It's not really going either way. It's not good or it's not bad. So, you know, 3 out of 56, you wouldn't think this was very bad. But when it's sent to last line, the same exact signature set is sent, and they find it a 70 out of 100, and they consider it high risk. So they say it's malicious and possibly stalling against analysis environment. So this goes to show you last line is much more in depth. You want to use them. That is their sole purpose, is to look at advanced malware. So how are we discovering breaches? Now, you can see through all these numbers, unrelated parties. You do not want someone, as you can see, 69% of all breaches are reported by someone outside of that network. This is by someone looking at their credit card information, someone getting a phone call from the IRS, so on and so forth. This is not how you want to learn about a breach. So the best way of doing this, in the last 5% of breaches were discovered by the actual security logs inside the environment. So there's a significant gap between data collection and actually looking at the data. So as you can see, we're drowning in oceans of data. If you have, you know, logging reporting servers, but you're not looking at them, you're not leveraging the data that you have, it's not really doing much good. So you can see it's nearly impossible if you have thousands and thousands of pages or, you know, hundreds of gigs of data, but no one is going through it. There's no red flags. It's not really doing you much good. So you can see this quote below. It's very pertinent to this situation. Data in itself is not valuable at all. The value is in the analysis done on that data and how the data is turned into information and eventually turning it into knowledge. So using the data that you're getting, and the data that we're getting through Dimension. Now, Dimension can notify you of threats, of malware on your environment. So it's a good way to use this feature that we are giving you the full opportunity to use. So it helps baseline normal network activity. If you have, say, your network is slow, your bandwidth is getting eaten up by something, you can figure it out by Dimension by seeing who's using YouTube or so on and so forth. You can see what the highest application use is in your network. You know, are people using BitTorrent? Are people using Facebook? Once again, YouTube, anything like that. Those are bandwidth hogs. You can make changes on your firewall once you see the visibility of the data in front of you. How can you help? Can help you increase productivity? Well, you can see where your employees are going, and you can kind of block those applications by seeing what their activity is, by saying, no, I'm not going to allow you to go to any internet sites other than work-related. That's kind of a pretty harsh way of doing things, but sometimes it comes to that. It can help with compliance and audits. We give you canned reports such as PCI compliance reports, HIPAA reports. So that's all included in the dimension logging reporting server. Insights help you craft better policies. Once again, you can create policies based on Active Directory. So you can create policies for, say, the HR. If you want to allow them to get to Facebook or get to other things that your normal general population employees don't need to get to. So seeing this web traffic and these web logs and reports will help you base better policies on your firewall to kind of streamline things and know exactly what you're getting into. So 2 things to remember. Advanced malware protection is a layered approach. As you can see through the diagram, it starts with the firewall and trickles down all the way through the subscription services, through the graphical logs, and user awareness. You know, the first line is user awareness. Do not click on websites or emails that you think are suspicious. Some of these you would consider common sense, but a lot of people wouldn't. So one of the most important is advanced malware protection. The second is visibility is defense. By having Dimension Server, you can see what's going on your network, real time, right in front of you, very easy to comprehend and to understand. So from that, I appreciate you guys sitting through my little PowerPoint presentation, and now I'm going to segue straight into the Dimension Server that I have. And then just take into consideration, this is our demo Dimension Server, so it is not my personal one, but as you can see, this is what our logging Dimension Server looks like. We have a firewall from Denver, and once I click on this firewall, you'll see straight from the executive dashboard some of the information that is given about advanced. You can see APT, very top of the list. It gives you what the name of the EXE is, how many hits it's been given, and the threat level. So you can scroll down, you can see the top clients with Active Directory integrated. You can see actual usernames. So it's very nice you're not tracking down IP addresses. You actually have who is doing it right in front of you. And from the top client, you can actually click on the name. You see alice@example.com, and you can see what APTs, what domain she's using, the top web categories, the top destinations, the applications. You can see she's using 7 gigabits of BitTorrent. You know, and this is a P2P application. So obviously, this is going to put a high hit on your bandwidth, on your network, and plus also the ability to allow malware into your network. So with that being said, Alice obviously needs some talking to. So this is just from the executive dashboard. From the executive dashboard, I have a report. You can see most all of our logs and reports give you the ability up here with the Adobe symbol to create reports, and these can be scheduled by daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, however you want to do it, and you can customize them with your company logo. So I just have this kind of generic report that I've created through the executive summary, and it gives you, very nice, right there, it gives you the reports that are in here, and you can just scroll down, and it actually gives you numbers, very easily readable. This isn't syslogs. It's a report that you can send to upper management, and it's very easy to decipher. Top blocked malware. You can see it even gives you the names, crypt right here. Very important. So that's what some of the reports can look like. Now you can click down a security dashboard, and it gives you a little more in-depth look at the bad things that are happening in your network. Top blocked advanced malware. The APT is the actual service that blocked these. Top blocked clients. You can actually see the clients in your network that are going to these destinations and are being blocked. The applications, social networks, games, Facebook, Xbox. So this is all done straight from the Dimension Logging Reporting Server. Now the threat map is very nice because you can actually see where these threats are coming from. So you can click down, you can actually click on here and see a Portland. Now the most important thing you can see is the denied, the disposition. That's what you want to see. Now along with that is the Firewatch. Firewatch gives you the real-time what's going on your network, who's using it, and consider this entire blue box your bandwidth, your pipe that's coming into your network. So you get the inevitable, my internet is slow. Well, you can look straight off from the beginning that Alice is using 3 gigabits. Now from Alice, you can filter down and you can see where all that bandwidth is going. You know, Google, what application she's using. BitTorrent, that's obviously a huge problem. So you can go straight to your firewall, get on application control, and block BitTorrent. So you can see the web audit, what types of things, streaming media, personal storage. So it just gives you lots of ways to actually see what's going on your network right in front of you. And yeah, the protocol she's using is pretty unbelievable. You can see all those down there. Now from there, I would click, you go to tools and you go to reports. Now you can actually scroll down and you can actually see the subscription services. So you can actually look the advanced malware going on your network. And you can see all these downloads, you know, all these malwares that have been run through, and you can actually look through the threat details. You know, when it was found, why they considered it a threat, identified Trojan code. So with that, like I was saying, all reports give you the ability to either print straight from here, or you can email them, you can schedule them, and you can send them to whoever you think needs to have these reports in their hands. Now, these 2 reports I'm showing you are just dedicated to advanced persistent threats. But we have lots and lots of canned reports. You can see, you can scroll down to all the ones down here. You know, the HIPAA, the compliance reports, just the virus reports, blocked websites. Gives you full visibility, and that is the key of the game these days, is to know what's going on and to prepare rather than to fix once the problem is already there. So the advanced persistent threat and the dimension gives you that ability to defend against and then to see what's going on. And I think right now that's the way to do things. You know, you have to be prepared. You have to defend. You can't just wait till it happens and then fix the issue. You have to have endpoint protection. You have to have current and up-to-date backups, and you have to have all subscription services plus APT rendered on your firewalls to be completely secure and prepared for attacks that happen on your network. And with that being said, I think that concludes my presentation and my live demo for APT and Dimension, and I think I will pass it back to John.
Yeah, I got it here. Let me go ahead and turn this back on here. So again, I thank everyone for attending. We're going to go ahead and do our drawing here while Adam is being so kind to go over the APT, Advanced Persistent Threat, and Dimension. We took the liberty to write down everyone's name here and do it a very scientific method. We put it on sheets of paper, folded them in half, and shook them up. So we got one winner here. Picking it out, we have Brian Bulow there at North Florida Medical Center. You have won the WatchGuard carrier bag. I'll get that over to you there. And again, I wanted to thank everyone for attending. I wanted to also draw your attention to my contact information. I noticed there wasn't any questions that were posted during the presentation, but feel free to write this down, jot down the telephone number there, jot down my email address and ask me any question that you may have on the presentation today. Also, again, this was recorded, so you can view it after Monday there. With that, I'm going to go ahead and end the presentation. Again, thank you for everybody for spending time, and you have a wonderful rest of the day. Thank you.